Call me Izzy. Not really. You can call me Bobby. That's not my real name, but it's good enough. Bobby is an average name, a bland name. The kind of name you don't associate with excellence, even though there are many successful Bobbies in the world. Remember that episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob becomes normal? If normal Bob's name wasn't Sponge, it would be Bob. Bob, I guess. I didn't really think that analogy through, did I? Anyway, I'm the editor of a magazine that publishes horror, science fiction, and fantasy. Short stories mainly, but also reviews, poems, and novel excerpts. I won't say what it's called or anything like that for fear of someone linking me to this account, but we do very well for ourselves, relatively speaking. Publishing isn't what it used to be. In fact, it's outright dying a long, painful death. Fewer and fewer people read for pleasure anymore, and books are becoming just a little harder to find. In the old days, they were everywhere. Drugstores, airports, Dollar General. Now they're not. Not really. Demand is dropping fast, but thanks to Amazon, supply is increasing exponentially. Anyone can write a book now and slap it on the shelf next to all the other books. Amazon isn't a bookstore, it's an airplane hangar stacked floor to ceiling, and that's how crowded the field is. As a writer, you have to compete with not only all 50,000 other writers, but with Netflix, video games, Snapchat, movies, TV, and YouTubers. YouTubers. Like, I respect them and all, but man, there are YouTubers who literally play with boxes and get 50 million views. My rag? We're lucky if we hit 50K. Super lucky. Magazines used to be a great place for writers to publish shorts and make a little money. Not these days. In the 1920s, pulp writers made a killing submitting to all the pop-up horror adventure mags. These days, most magazines don't even pay. And if they do, it's like $5 or $10. Finding out what pays 50 is like a dream come true. In 2005, something like 48% of professional writers made their living by writing. These days, that number is more like 12%. That's to say, we're on our way out and no one's going to notice when we're gone. Or care. Which is fair enough, I guess. I don't dwell on it. It is what it is. Talking about our dying industry isn't why I'm posting today. Something happened to me, and I want to share it. I almost don't want to talk about it because being involved with horror, people might assume I'm lying or crazy. I'm not. Though I wish I was. My magazine is headquartered in a supposedly haunted Victorian in Albany, New York. My office is on the top floor, the old attic. It's a small, dusty space lit only by the dim light of a table lamp and the blue glow of my computer monitor. In the daylight, there's sun, of course, but I mainly work nights, so I rarely ever see the sun. The sun sucks anyways. Has anyone ever gotten moonburn? No? All right then. Most of my job consists of reading stories sent in by writers. I occasionally find a gem or two, but most of the work is mediocre. More than a few are outright bad. I see some of the same names a lot, and one of them always stuck out to me. Yuri Dracula. Yuri like the Russian cosmonaut, and Dracula as in, well, you know. Yuri was terrible, I'm sorry. I try to be gentle when judging others' work, but this man had a supernatural ability to choose the wrong word and then misapply it. Most of his stuff read like bad fanfiction. For instance, Billy went into the house and walked up the stairs. A cold draft blew against his faz. Seriously. Yuri submitted his first story in 2018 and had racked up dozens of rejections by the time late 2021 rolled around. His emails got more and more tense as time went on, and he even replied a few times to argue with me about how I didn't understand the genius of his work or something. I don't know, I just skim those. I get them a lot. One chilly evening in October with a cold wind pushing dead leaves across the ground, I got to work, sat at my computer, and fell in. The building was empty and silent. Before long, however, I became aware of a change in the atmosphere. It was almost like I wasn't alone anymore. I turned just as the stairs leading down to the second floor gave a soft creak. My blood ran cold and I went stiff. Was someone here? Before I could answer myself, a tall, gaunt figure appeared in the doorway, and my heart crashed into my stomach. The man was tall and pale, with lanky black hair and hollow cheeks, and his gangly arms dangled at his sides. He looked like Lurch from the Addams Family, only uglier. I found my voice. Who are you?
I am Dracula. Yuri Dracula.
I blinked in surprise. What are you doing here?
I've come to give you this, my latest masterpiece.
Okay. Not strange at all. I only accept submissions by email. Ignoring me, Yuri walked over and held the story out. The cold of the grave radiated from him, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. He shot me a stern look, and I took the papers. Okay, I said nervously. I guess I could take a hand-delivered submission. Just this once. Dude was probably crazy and might kill me if I said anything else. While I read the story, Yuri loomed over me like an undertaker. The story was about a vampire who had been writing fiction for 500 years and still couldn't get published. From the samples of his writing included in the story, I could see why. He sucked. In the end of the story, the vampire went to visit an editor who had rejected a bunch of his stories. He ate the woman's neck. Done, I let out a sigh and did my best to avoid looking at Yuri. Well, he asked. This man was clearly a nutcase who thought he was a vampire and planned to bite me or something. Ugh. But something came over me. Call it indignity at being accosted and threatened.
Well?
The vampire in your story has been alive for 500 years, right?
Correct.
You'd think that in that time he'd learned the difference between there, and there. Yuri's eyes flashed, and before I knew it, he was dragging me out of the chair by the lapels of my tweed jacket. Yes, I wear a tweed jacket like it's 1976. Don't judge me! Yuri held me off of the ground, and my heart jumped into my throat, my feet kicking impotently.
Listen.
And when he spoke, I could see his fangs.
I've been writing since before English even existed. I know everything about fiction, story, character development, and grammar.
I almost threw up.
You're the one who's sadly mistaken.
Okay, I said. I'm sorry.
You will publish this story, or I will turn you into a vampire like me, then shove you out into the sun. Is that understood?
Unable to speak, I nodded. Well, to make a long story short, I published Yuri's story, and then his next one, and then his next. I just put the finishing touches on a special Yuri Dracula issue with everything inside written exclusively by him. I wept as I did so. Our readership had been dropping steadily, and we're making barely enough to cover the internet bill. This will be the final nail in the coffin. I just know it. But better the magazine than me.
Good evening. Thank you for watching. Just wanted to thank my patrons, Tam B, Jen Miser, Sky Mara Ravenswood, Melissa Perez, Mr. Sankofa, Leaf Ninja, Roy Larmer, Mr. Creepypasta, Neon Scoundrel, and William Delphin. If you'd like to become a patron, join my Discord, or see my other social media, check out the links in the description below. Also, let me know how I can be praying for you. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.